Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. Follow the daily, weekly, monthly timeframes. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So what a couple weeks it's been, straight up just like the Brexit down in here, right up, right into no man's land. They hold it up, destroy the puts. This one actually here, we got paid. We were covering shorts here, took some puts off the table. Anytime you guys have a profit in these markets, take it and run. Surprise, short squeeze right to the top, destroy the puts right in the options X. We filled the gap. We almost made it to double top, and we pulled back slightly today. Now we're waiting on pattern. Let's see if we can actually have a bullish wedge up here for possibly higher prices. We definitely need to get above the 220 area if this thing continues to go. But on this light volume again, here we go again, light volume float. We did have 86 million on the day on the SPY, so it's not terrible, but it's not that good either. I want to see it moving up on some conviction volume, and I'd like to see more follow through. Weekly chart. Weekly chart again, we're right into this inside bar where we're starting to break down. So I want to see more volume than this to kick this thing up, get it above the 1960 area, 220 area, and then, or the 219 area, 60 area, and then the 220 area, and then we could possibly get more upside. 2 bars up, I want to see one more big bar volume. Let's get up into the 225 area, stuff like that, and then we'll start shorting again. Something like that. All right, let's get into the IWM. Again, this one's been lagging. We've been talking about that for months. And what a surprise, surprise. We're above the highs again. Look, it's the IWM. Hurry up. Chase it, chase it, chase it. So we broke above the all-time high on the daily basis today, and we actually closed. So as it's slowly grinding up, now what I want to see, this volume's disappearing. I want to see more volume with this thing moving up. Why do we have 4 days of huge volume? That tells me this was a huge short squeeze to get it right to the top again. Got it there, and bam, they're going to float it up now on no volume, get all the puts to expire worthless today, and that was their goal for the month, because these guys don't want to pay out options, let me tell you, the big boys. They don't want to pay premiums out. So at this point, I want to see another bar up. I want to see this thing on a weekly basis next Friday closing 133, 134, 135 on some volume. If it starts to putter out and just starts to make, a little rounded top again, kind of like this guy here, I think the next wave down is going to be nice and nasty, if you ask me. So we still have a trend line down in here. We still, we still have an upward bias, a little bit more maybe. I don't know. Maybe we float through the holidays, stuff like that. We do have Thanksgiving next week, so the volume is probably going to disappear. And we also have Christmas coming up around the corner, Hanukkah, all the holidays, all that good stuff. So just be aware of the light volume float, and if they do that, these markets can possibly go higher. But in the meantime, we are in short positions all the way, from F5 to Goldman to Tesoro to MLM to Nvidia, X. What else are we in? Netflix, Google, Facebook. So we're in a bunch of shorts, but as they're coming in, we're pulling them off. We had some good. We pulled off one today called GWPH. That was a good one. That was one we got in the live chat room, guys. I'm doing live stuff on YouTube, so please subscribe to my channel. I post some live stuff. We go for a couple hours every other day, and we try to find trades and try to find good setups. But anyways, let's go back to the IWM. Again, we're above there. I want to see this thing close above here next Friday, and then we'll take it from there. Let's see, the Qs. The Qs still kind of the weak horse. I mean, it didn't have that bad of a week since the President-elect Trump got in. But again, we had this inside bar, had a nice fall that day, came back in, did it again, retraced back up to the 750 and then this inside bar, and that's all it could do. So while the other ones are really, really close to the all-time highs, the Dow pulled back slightly, and we'll get to that one next. And this one just didn't, not even close. I mean, we had Amazon up a little bit, but Google came down 10 bucks. It was options X, guys, so you got to be aware of that. There's a lot of stocks doing some weird stuff today, up and down in the last couple of days, because again, they want the options to expire worthless. Why do they want to pay out any premiums when they don't have to? But again, we have a slight W bottom. That meaning that if we set up in a bullish pattern here above the MAs, that this could possibly go higher as the IWM does. the DIA does, you know, right into Christmas so we can scratch out a little bit of a gain. Because last year we were pretty much flat on the year. So these guys have to start making money to show their clients, you know, the big institutional money, the hedge funds say, hey, look what we did this year and look how good we are. We made 4% on the year, which is very, very sad. Anyways, the Q's still trying to get above this inside bar. So we'll see if that makes it. Let's get to the weekly chart. Weekly chart, same thing. We're inside this bar. We need to get above, say, 117.60 or so with you know, a closing basis. But you know, we came down. We're curling up a little bit. Let's see if we continue sideways still in a macro bull, but we're still in a micro bear with being in this inside bar. We need to get above that or even above this blue line right at 118.09 or so. Before that, or 118.10. If it can't do that, we'll probably just end up going sideways, setting up for the next wave down. Let's go into the DIA. DIA was down 31 cents, but still, you know, we're still trying to make a run for the roses here, guys. So got through the highs. They talked about it, you know, and we still didn't get to down 19,000. That was probably their ultimate goal, so they could just start talking about that, you know, over the weekend, all that good stuff. But we did get above the 168.80. We talked about the 190 area. Man, I mean, we got to start consolidating here. This little bit of a downside candle today was a little bit bearish, to be honest with you. I mean, we're above the MAs. We're looking okay moving up here, but man, you know what? Let me tell you, that just little bit bearish to me, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens next week with the float and the holiday and the possibly low volume. But again, this is setting up in a bullish manner. But this little bar, I'd like to see this thing stay up here, or it goes up and then comes back in like a little wedge here. But this is just kind of, you know, making a rounded top here, possibly turning over. But next week we'll see. But the light volume, as you could tell on the candles here, it is prevailing, and it's just basically floating up today, just kind of staying buoyant. We were 31 cents down. Not a big deal, but got to be aware of the volume. And on the weekly, we had a nice blast off getting through the double top, but it did not confirm on the weekly, so I need a close above, say, 190 again. I want to see it close 190, 191, 192, and I want to see some more volume pushing this thing up for me to be a believer that this thing could possibly run higher. We're at the highs, guys. Everything's at the highs. This thing's got to better start moving with some volume. If it doesn't, you know, we will see. I still think come December, she raises the rates, or in January, she raises the rates. Come February, we're going to get some downside. But, you know, we'll see. We're right in that time frame where anything's possible, where this thing can start falling. So let's get into the IYT. This one just keeps going, guys. Daily pattern, not too much. You know, we did have a slight bullish pattern. You know, we came up, kind of chopping around above the MAs, dropped down into this area here, popped it back up, and then just took off right after the elections here. So, you know, we had the 151, it blasted through. We had this area here around 155, it blasted through. Now we're going for that pivot top at, say, 160 or so. If you go back here in the charts, there it is right there. That's a great pivot top. You have a gap fill, and then also you have some big pivots around 165. So I guess we could get up to 165. But man, when you get a parabolic move like this on pretty good volume, something's got to give here. That's all I can tell you. But today, another run for the roses. They're going for this, and like I said, that possible gap fill a little bit up, a little higher. Let's go into the weekly chart. Weekly chart, here's that pivot I was talking about. Next area here, 164 to 165.50 or so. That's going to be almost double top, and then double top would be 167.72. Honestly, I wouldn't rule this out. We've been adding the IYT. We haven't added lately, but if it goes up here, we'll add the rest of the position, and then hopefully this thing can get a little bit of downside. But yeah, I mean, you get moves like this. This was a great bullish pattern. We were above the MAs. Nice inside bar right there on the weekly. You know, this was bullish. Then this came in. This was bullish. And then, you know, even back here, I was saying this thing's better take off. This thing better take off. But you know what? They took it right off into options X. And what that do for the puts, guys? Take care of the puts. Let's see here. IYT. Let's go USO. USO, little choppy, sloppy action. Let's go to the daily. You know, I drew some new lines in here today, and I still think it's slightly bearish. I mean, anything can happen with this, with the dollar shooting up, oil kind of going down, gold going down. It's been all over the place, so it's not really reacting to the dollar. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but I still think you got down, sideways action right here. I still think below the MAs as well that we could possibly move lower. I'm still thinking double bottom here, and then we're going to shoot to you know, 925, and then ultimately get back down to that $9 level, and then we'll see how this thing reacts. It's not that far away, guys. It's only about a buck away, you know, $1.32 away. So first got to get through this trend line here, and then we'll take it from there. Weekly chart, we were short this. We have a quarter position still, but you know, we covered it already. It pulled back nice, and we said thank you very much. But again, we're still below the MAs here. That tells me a little bit bearish. Comes in, pulls back, a little bit of a bearish inside bar pattern, retraces back to the 382. I want to see some more consolidation here with the moving averages just kind of trailing it. Then I'm expecting more downside. If it does get above the MAs, then I'm probably thinking, you know, we might get back around 1171, and then maybe even double top up here around 1246, and then we'll see, you know, see how this thing reacts, see if it pushes up. You got to keep an eye on the volume. The volume is coming in a little bit more lately, so apparently someone's, you know, coming in trying to figure out where this thing's going to go. But like I said, we were short from up here. We did cover it. We have a quarter position. It's popping up on us a little bit. We're still in the money on that one, but I want to see if we could get at least till $9 or so, and maybe if we start hitting these pivots around 8, but we'll see. I'm going to try to let that quarter position run with some patience. And then the UUP, and this is kind of the culprit too. UUP's just been ripping. It was up today again, 9 cents, but we talked about this one on daily. And, you know, we had a great push up right to the 5.0 retrace, great push down. Almost, did it fill the gap? Yeah, I think it was really close to filling the gap, and then took off again. I was hoping down in here, or maybe down in here again, and then the next move up, but just moving up without us, guy. Now we're right into these pivots right here around 26.12 and 26.25. So now we're waiting for a pattern to see if this thing could possibly, you know, maybe move up a little more. We still have some areas. Let's get to the weekly. It's a little bit easier to show you. So if we get to the weekly, we just hit this pivot here. Now we're coming into this pivot here at 26.25. What was the high of the day? 26.24, so by the penny. And then actually 26.50 if this thing starts to go. You have the 750 at 26.42. So you're going to have some resistance coming up. Let's go back a little further. Then if it really starts ripping, we got 26.83 and then 27.21. And then, you know, ultimately you have double top here at 28.94. But yeah, I mean, this one's run. If this one runs, this should take down gold a little more, and this should take down the the USO a little bit more. Let's get in the GLD. That's been coming out, working out pretty good for us, guys. We thought on the daily, you know, we talked back. You look at the videos, live session. We were talking about this, and I told everybody, you know what? If this thing goes up, we're going to miss the boat. But we do have a little bit of a tail. It is trying to recapture the 50 MA. Maybe fill the gap up in here. Never did it. Pulled back. Bounced up here, almost filled the gap up here, and then slammed. 3 days down, a little bit of a bullish or bearish consolidation. Now we're right here, 15.35, right at gap fill. If that area cracks, we've been talking about these guys. Remember, you had the gap fill at, where is it? Right around 115.69. Then you had these double bottom pivots, roughly at 115.35. And then the next area, I'm thinking we did start to add a little bit long on here. I'm thinking 112.32 right in there. And then as well as anywhere around 108, 109 right in here, you have a gap fill, gap fill. So anywhere in here you can start to add. And if it really starts to go to 105, then you know, if you can wait patiently to 101, I don't know if it's going to make it. But I really think it's going to go 112 and then right in this 112, 108 area. Or 110, 108 area. So be careful with gold. Don't go long yet. Let's see if we could get a little more downside to this, maybe $5-6, and then we'll start to nibble some more. I'll put more on at 112, and I'll put more on at around 108 or so. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching my videos. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for the live sessions, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks again for watching. God bless. See you on the charts.